This episode is brought to you by Subreddit Surfing Live, Saturday, March the 9th. Comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, New York. Get your tickets now at carlsoncomedy.com. Join Vinny, Cardiff, and producer Jimmy, as well as a whole bunch of special guests. If you miss it, then you miss it. But I wouldn't miss it if I were you. carlsoncomedy.com. Hey, Vinny.
Yeah, Cardiff?
Do you wanna go subreddit surfing? I wanna go subreddit surfing. Grab your phone, let's go subreddit surfing. 'Cause I wanna go subreddit surfing with you. We talk to folks from different subreddits because sometimes we just don't get it. We explore all kinds of subreddits. Subscribe now or you will regret it. Do you wanna go subreddit surfing? I wanna go subreddit surfing. Grab your phone, let's go subreddit surfing. 'Cause I wanna go subreddit surfing with you. Vinny and Cardiff go subreddit surfing. Mondays at 8 we are subreddit surfing. 10 is too late for subreddit surfing. So be here now for subreddit surfing today. Aloha, 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 big kahunas. How are you? Welcome, Skinny Vinny.
Good to be here.
No, Vinny couldn't be here. It's just producer Jimmy and myself tonight, but that's okay, big kahunas. We have a great guest tonight. We have a paranormal topic. Well, I guess the topic is paranormal. So that would be a paranormal topic, wouldn't it, Jimmy?
It would.
Yes. But it is. We are in Thanksgiving week. Vinny loves Thanksgiving.
Of course.
Turkey, pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, all types of other pies.
You think he's a cranberry guy? Cranberry sauce?
Oh, he's a cranberry sauce guy. He actually, those piping bags they use to decorate cakes?
Yes.
He actually fills those up with cranberry sauce and just sucks on one of those all day, just walking around the comedy club, just shoving the cranberry sauce down his gullet. No, but Vinny was so excited for Thanksgiving on Thursday. Mrs. Vinny was preparing a great turkey. She had a big 40-pound turkey. Can you believe a 40-pound turkey?
That's a big turkey.
Yeah, it was just gonna be the two of them this year. So, so she only needed a 40-pounder for Vinny. But he got into the fridge and he's been picking at that turkey all week. Unfortunately, the turkey hasn't been cooked yet, and he's just been eating raw turkey all weekend, and the worms have they've taken over. Let's just say that. But I hope he's better. He's still eating the raw turkey, but we hope. I'm sure he's got a raw turkey leg in his hand right now. He's laying in bed, chowing down.
Just passed out.
So thank you everyone for joining us. As I said, we have a great guest today. We'll be talking paranormal. Jimmy, why are we talking paranormal? Are you paranormal? Can you be paranormal? No, you can't be paranormal. An event is paranormal,
right?
But you can't be paranormal. Or can
I don't know.
Ooh,
I can be into paranormal.
Yes, you can. But no, so this subreddit, I went through it. I'm sure you pulled a couple things out of it that were interesting to you. There's a lot of, kind of creepy pictures, unexplained phenomena, but a lot of it seems to be ghosts, ghost sightings, visions, orbs, things like that people are posting. But it is spooky. There is some spooky stuff. And now I think our guest coming on tonight, June, she's a paranormal investigator. I don't know if she talks to these ghosts, and we'll talk to her. We'll find out. But if she does talk to these ghosts, I think now's the time for her to let those ghosts know, hey, you guys don't have to hide anymore. Because with AI and Photoshop, no one's going to believe anything.
It's true.
No one's going to believe any more. Photographic evidence is going to be nothing. Like up until now, people have always said, if there's aliens, why Why aren't there more pictures? You know, everyone's got a phone. Why aren't there more
Mhm.
pictures? If there's ghosts, why aren't there more pictures? I have a feeling over the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be so many pictures that we're not going to believe anything anymore. So you might as well let your freak flag fly, ghosts. Come on out because it doesn't matter if we catch you on film. It's not going to matter. Jimmy, before we get to our guests, did you have a specific post you wanted to put up? You wanted to show you that really explained paranormal for you?
Well, actually, I kinda had post for June.
Oh, okay. So we will save that one. So I'll just put one up. And again, this is just an example of some of the stuff. And this is just the creepy pictures, the unexplained. Like, what is that uh, in the background of that photo? What's that? Is it camera tricks or is it something more sinister? So this is someone taking a picture of their snake collection. But if you look
Oh my god.
just all the way in the back, there's just some type of humanoid shape just in the back of the room, and there was no one there.
That's spooky.
Yeah, that's spook. So that's the kind of stuff. Like again, I saw a lot of these things, and there's no. I mean, there's a million. You go through the post. There's a million explanations. There's a million light hit this or it's fake or whatever. But it's still. I want to give um, these topics a little bit of light because who knows? We have to look at these all with the an open mind. Let's hear what's out there because I mean I think I've had this conversation with Vinny on the show on another maybe on a ghost episode or something, but it's I want there to be ghosts.
Yeah, right?
I
The
become
thought
a ghost.
the thought of the afterlife, it is nice to think about rather
Yeah,
than just being black,
I'm gonna
you
get
know?
to I'm gonna die and then I get to come back and fuck with people's pictures. Cool, I'm in. I'm doing it. I am doing it. So without further ado, let's get to our guest, uh, June Ahern. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Subreddit Surfing. As I
Thank you.
said, I'm Cardiff Electric. This is Jimmy. Our other co-host, Vinny. He's not very smart, so he won't be here tonight. But hopefully, the next time we have you on, if you're willing to come back, we can. We'd love to hear some more stories, and hopefully, he will be here to meet you. To meet you. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the show,
Vinny and the Worms.
Vinny and the Worms. Yes, June, you're gonna
Mhm.
fit in perfectly here. You, if you want to call Vinny fat too, that's fine. We're good with that.
Hey, don't start shaming fat people.
It's just Vinny, not people, just Vinny.
Okay.
Yes. But June, so you're well, how should I address you? What title would you call yourself if you were to introduce yourself? What's the title you would use?
I don't like titles, but the world likes titles.
Yeah.
So I guess psychic, medium, paranormal investigative. That way people have an idea of who I am.
hmm hmm Okay, so as a, I guess those are three different things, or but so as a psychic, as a medium, you're communicating with the other side. Mm,
As a medium, yes.
Okay.
And then as the psychic reader, for 50 years, I would read for people, answer their questions, try to direct them,
hmm
and like that. But I'm retired from that, so
You don't do
that
that
part.
anymore. Okay, so what do
Yeah.
you do now? Primarily just a paranormal investigator.
Yeah, yeah, I do that. Just to keep myself entertained. I look at it as entertainment. I know. I like to go meet some ghosts, find out what are they suffering from.
Interesting. So how do you end up on a as a paranormal investigator? How do you get called onto a case? How does that? Is there a hotline? You have a red phone?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I was invited to go, well, over the span of what I did, people would invite me to their homes.
hmm
I'm feeling some kind of energy here. Would you come? Would you verify it? Most of the time, I'm not that interested in doing that because it means I have to leave my house and go someplace. But I guess, about 16 years ago. It's hard to tell time anymore because it's going too fast. Was called by a former client who asked me, did I want to do a paranormal investigation of the zodiac? play, the Zodiac, right?
Mhm.
Zodiac
Zodiac
killer.
killings.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Did I want to do that? And I said, absolutely not. I did not want to do that. I didn't think it should be done because there's still some relatives that are alive from those victims, and I didn't think it was really very
Now,
respectful.
now, sorry. What did they want you to do? Just to
Well, they wanted me to
communicate
go
to
to the
some.
sites and pick up the victims and see what was going on. This woman, Ying, who is now the producer of the Haunted Bay that I go at different places she picks or she's invited to do paranormal investigation. She was working with the Alameda paranormal group that go in and they record, and they do it more as a scientific part of it. I do it more at the metaphysical part, and they do the recordings. We do it
Okay,
separately.
so you don't
We
have the
go and
equipment. You
investigate.
don't have the recorders and all the electronics. You're just there as to sense, to feel the spirit, to connect.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, to connect. And so I said to her, I'm not going to do that one if you have someplace else. Then she called me back. She goes, would you like to do the Condor Club? I was like, yeah. That is in San Francisco. It's on Broadway Street, and it's
Is
a
that Boy
strip joint.
George's band?
It's a strip joint.
Oh, okay.
It's a very well known, where Carol Doda, very well known, completely undressed for the waist up. So it's a famous or infamous strip joint. I
Hmm.
said, oh sure, I've been wanting to go there, but ladies didn't go in those places. So I was
Mm.
just as
Well,
happy.
some did.
Well, now you do, but I'm talking,
No,
back
but I
when I
mean,
was young.
they needed them on stage.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and God bless them for having to
Yes.
put up with the clients.
Hmm.
And anyway, so I went and investigated that. I had a good time. So then she had another place and another place. It just kept going on, and I would pick and choose where I wanted to go.
So what? So when you go to when you didn't go to the Zodiac killing,
No,
the locations, but why would a spirit, someone who was killed in a spot, would they hang around the area where they were killed? Why
very
would?
much could. And that's what becomes more of what we think of the ghost. The ghost is the entity or the energy that doesn't move on because they're still attached to whatever happened on earth to them. They can't make that break. Like we hope when we leave this planet, transition, we don't want to keep, I don't want to keep coming back. I'll come back and visit you, and I'll
Mhm.
bring my potato peeler.
I thought we were friends.
She she's already going for the throat.
Jeez.
I thought we were friends.
Yeah, come on, June. S-
I not Jimmy, because Jimmy's very polite.
He
I
is.
just come by and
He
wave at
is.
him.
He is.
Yeah,
I've trained him well. I've raised
yeah.
him since he was a young lad. I found him floating in a river in a basket. I brought him in.
I gotta say, I feel really bad for not forewarning you that you're gonna be talking to a floating potato, June, so I completely apologize about that. I should have given you a little bit of a fair warning. You looked a little
It
surprised when you came in the room.
it did take June a minute. I think June was questioning a few decisions she's made in
Yeah.
her life when she saw the potato.
Oh, I've questioned a lot more than just a potato. I was a child living in San Francisco in the '60s. Well, not a child, but young enough.
I
Anyway,
think I want to
so
hear these stories, June.
oh boy. Well, let me look around and see if anybody that I know is listening.
Nah,
Uh,
no.
I was a product of my environment. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But so how did
Uh,
you and was that environment that allowed you to tune in to the ghost
well, I did
or the
tune in and drop out quite a few times. No, actually, it was a near-death experience that I had in 1970, a near fatal accident.
what
Oh,
happened?
what happened? Uh-oh, they're here. You asked for them. I think you said, let me quote, uh, I want there to be a ghost. I wrote it down.
Yes.
I, and so you know what's going to happen now?
What?
Yeah, they're going to come and visit you.
Oh no.
Yeah, in your dreams. And then when you open your eyes, they could still be there.
Is it gonna be like Casper?
Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah. I see a very old man,
What are you
long
doing,
beard,
June? Stop it!
around 2 a.m. Listen, you call me and let me know, and I'll let them know to leave you alone.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
I
sleep well.
appreciate that.
So anyway, after my near-death experiences, when I went to the other side.
Mhm.
I was rejected at the pearly gates. They sent me back, and everything changed in my life.
Who sent you back? What is there to send you back that says
It was
go
my
ahead?
it was my maternal grandparents.
All right. So
They
they're
let
your
me they let me view what was there, and then they said, and they're Scottish, so that's why they said it like this. Not now, June. Not now. Go on back. So I came
hmm.
back.
And how old were you then?
20.
So you're 20. So you're just a young woman starting your life, and you got had
Yeah.
an accident. So after that, you were now more in tune, more connected. You started.
Well, I didn't understand it. I thought I was
Okay.
having deja vus, like, oh, yeah, I think that happened before. And then when I was visited by my first person that came to visit me, who was my grandfather then, I guess he came to apologize. He didn't take me. I was really scared. I mean, it isn't like we can talk about it, but when it actually happens,
Hmm.
it's frightening. I'm not frightened really much now. There are some things that we'll talk about that I am frightened. It scared me, and it was very frightening. And then I started having other visitations. I had a visitation quite a few years after. Back then you didn't talk about it like we're talking about it then. I was brought up a good Catholic girl. I went to Catholic school. I was, you know, you didn't talk about it. And it wasn't until Raymond Moody came out in the late 70s with his book, which was very controversial then, about after life after life. So nowadays, everybody's talking about it,
Hmm.
or a lot of people. It was very strange.
Yeah. So when you started, um, so I guess you said you first were acting as a medium, as a psychic
Well,
reader.
first I started doing readings with the tarot because before I had this accident, I had a reading with a woman. I just a bunch of the girls went over there and drank wine, and this woman came over and
Hmm.
read our cards, and she had read the playing cards, and she told me, "You're going to be in an accident, a car accident. There's going to be two men by your side, and but you'll get through it." Well, I was dating one guy, and I went out with another guy. And the first
June,
date out, I got in the accident.
June, how
I
dare you?
know. Wild child, keep
Yes, it
your
was the
motor
70s.
running. It
It
was,
was the
yeah,
70s.
what could I say? I
So
was a
that was
product of my environment.
predicted by a tarot reading. So that I guess piqued your interest
No,
after that.
no,
Or
playing cards.
just playing cards.
Yeah, and so after that, I wondered how she did it, so I wanted to find out,
Oh,
and
okay,
that's how I started getting into it.
got it. Now, so you started doing readings for people, and then so when someone comes to you, you can like it's not just ghosts that are visiting you. You can tune into what, and is tune in the right phrase? Is that
Yeah,
how you?
that's a good phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're tuning into their kind of what's surrounding them, or are you going out and looking for people that are connected
Oh
to them?
no,
No,
no, no.
you can
I
kind of
never
just see
had
what's
to.
there.
In my whole years, I never advertised, never told it. It was always word of mouth. If someone came to me, it's because they heard about me, and I wouldn't see anybody that didn't tell me who sent them.
No, no. I mean, when you are doing a reading for somebody, can you just are you only able to see what's already around them, or can you go and?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like you
Yeah.
can. It's not like somebody can come to you and say, "Hey, my great grandmother, I want to talk to her." You can't go out and find her. You can only kind of see what's around,
Oh
I guess.
no, no. I could do both.
Oh, so
I
you
will
can
do
make okay.
both. I'll see who comes to me, and I didn't for many years. I wouldn't take people that wanted to only connect to spirit because there's no guarantee. You could call somebody up, but it doesn't mean they're going to answer you.
Yes.
So I would never say that. I would never say to somebody only coming. But then I was so interested in it. My older sister and I, we decided we were going to do seance, like a way of entertaining ourselves and
Mhm.
having fun, but the people that came were sad. And they wanted to know, especially we've started dealing with people that suicide and murder. And I had to realize I better take it a little more serious than entertaining myself.
Mhm.
Because afterwards we would laugh. I know that's not very nice. I shouldn't tell people that. What if somebody listens that I laughed while they saw me? Anyway, um, yeah, when we had to start dealing with that, and there were some strange things that happened then. Like one time the door flew open, another time a rocking chair was rocking. So I had to take it more seriously.
Hmm.
It was
So
still fun though.
what was, I guess, what was the, doors moving, things like that? What was the scariest thing that you had happen in a reading or
At
an
that
event?
time, at a seance,
Yeah.
that was probably the scariest things that
Okay.
happened like that. Some people would get freaked out and they just jump up like, oh my God. And, you know, I don't get that way. I would say if you're that scared, you shouldn't even be involved in it
Mhm.
personally. Though I did get really scared in the 90s when I went down to Jamaica. And that was my first absolutely crazy time.
The weed?
Yeah, well, that too. But
Okay. What
besides
happened in
that,
Jamaica, June?
besides that, I was
What
staying with
happened
a
in
very nice Christian family.
Okay.
But they're different from us. They're more aware and in tune. So what happened in Jamaica? There I am doing some readings, having a nice little time, doing some lectures and talks, and a man came, and he was a physician, and his wife was he was a Jamaican, and he said, there he is,
Oh, sorry.
and he said, my
June,
wife,
what
yes,
you said it was a physician?
he was a physician.
Okay.
He was a Jamaican, and and I stayed with all the black Jamaicans. I didn't. I wasn't involved in people that came, the white people, and everything. So they're have a different consciousness,
Mhm.
you know. And so he came and he asked me if I would come and see his wife because she was being attacked by entities.
Did
I call them vampire entities, dark entities. And when he took her to New York for treatment of cancer and tried to tell them this, of course, you know, you're going to tell a physician I'm being attacked. And so he asked me to come. I didn't want it. I had no education, and I knew about it, but I wasn't prepared for it. And I walked in that house. And, you know, Jamaica in July
Mhm.
is hot as hell,
And human.
very. And I was like sweating coming in here. And I right away felt like, oh, they're here in the back. I went toward the back and I opened a door and it was like walking into a freezer, a meat locker. And the smell was like, oh, putrid garbage, everything. Though it was very clean. It was a storage room, you know, had shelves and things on it. And when I went into the wife's bedroom, I actually was attacked. I wish now that I had taken photographs because I was attacked. I was hit. I was pinched. I was like, you ever roll up a wet towel and slap it at somebody?
Yes.
Yes, my older brothers used to do that too. I really still love them, but you know, so that's what I felt like I was being all over. Honestly, I would not believe it if it didn't happen to me. I
What
swear to
attacked
God.
you? What attacked you? Just not the woman.
No, she's laying in bed under hundreds of blankets.
Uh,
So anyway, I had to scream, you know, stop it, leave me alone. A lot of times, if you do that, they will lighten up on you. They will leave you alone. So I sat with the woman, and she had bruises all over her. They were attacking her all the time. And when I left, I said, "Listen, I don't have the kind of experience in this. You really need to call somebody else in. This isn't for me."
That's kind of like they need to be an exorcism going on there, right? Or deliverance.
Correct. Yeah, and that's a specialty. That's people like you have the Jesuit priests that do that.
Hmm.
There's only special people that really go in for exorcism, and that wasn't me. I didn't want to be a part of that.
hmm.
So that was really
Yeah.
scary.
So you left her. You weren't able to help her. What
No, I wasn't able to help her.
like
Thank
you're more, I guess, getting information from
a happy
spirits, or
medium. I'm a happy medium.
so what does
I
that
like
mean?
happy things. I want
Okay.
to deliver information to people. I don't want to be attacked by unseen entities.
Mhm.
You know, I'll leave that to somebody else. Though it did happen later on, a couple more things, but um, yeah, I like to be able to facilitate. That's what a medium is. You facilitate between those that are dead and those that are living,
Mhm.
and you're able to bring messages. Though I completely believe that we can do it on our own, but unfortunately, when you're grieving or you don't really believe it, then it's hard to do it on your own. So that's why people go to people like me.
Hmm.
I was doing a little bit of poking around on your website, and I saw that you worked with law enforcement.
Yes, I worked on a few murder cases, a missing person, even a missing parrot once.
Missing parrot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would assume when you're doing that, you had to have a lot of skeptics around during then, right?
Yeah, the police?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I mean, you already feel like you're guilty. It's almost like, "Just arrest me, okay? Let's get this over with."
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah,
how does
yeah.
that happen then in an environment like that? Where do they who stands up and says let's try June? Like,
Well, the police don't really want people to know how much they do use mediums. And yet it's not something you want people to know. So there are mediums that actually only work with the police. So they do have that. How I got involved
all
is
the
the
cops around here are extra large.
yeah, yeah, large cops. Th- it's how they are. It's their what they're accustomed to. Asking people questions makes you feel like, just did I swallow? Do they think I lied because they saw me go?
Mhm.
Uh, the family, it happened through the family. And another time it happened because I met a detective on another case and he had a murder case come up. So he just came and asked me like that. And then a few people, a detective called me about missing, a couple of detectives called me about stolen goods from the house, a missing child, and it was a parent had taken could I find the street or find the place, and I was able to do that, and I was glad I was able to do it.
So you
I don't guarantee people stuff.
Yeah. So let's can we talk about that at all? That
Which
the
one?
missing child?
Yeah, so what it was, the father was schizophrenic,
Okay.
and he had his visitation, and he never brought the child back. He took the child, and because of his particular illness, it was a huge concern. They could not find him, and so the mother came to me. It was a friend. Often it's a client that knows somebody that will put us in touch. And when I was in touch with the mother, then she was in touch with the police, and then the police would call me, and they say, "Yeah, okay. Uh, Supposedly you have some kind of information." And I said, "Oh yes, I'll happy to share it with you." "Yeah, all right. What is it?" That's the police. And so I did. I shared it, and then uh, through visions or through psychic information, I got the name of a street, and it happened to be a street that the father was known at. It happened to be a house that the father was known at, a relative of the father that took the child. And then, so the child was, after a few days, I think it was 2 or 3 days, they went and they brought the child back.
So can you talk us through that process? So now you've how do you how do you go about finding the street that a missing child is on? Like
Well, what you
what do
do
you
is
do?
you you go into meditation. Or sometimes you don't even go into meditation.
Mhm.
It just comes to you. Suddenly you see it. You see the name in your mind. It's a like telepathic thought process.
Mhm.
It comes to you. Sometimes what will come to you, and this is the hard part that the police have working with psychic mediums, is that you are describing a location, but with the police, they're a little more exact. They want to say, well, exactly what is the address, exactly what is the street name, or and that's not usually. I was just lucky that the street came to me.
But
That
so you
isn't
do you
usual.
see the sign? Do you hear the
Yes,
words? So you'll
yes,
you'll
yes. I see the sign. I see
Okay.
it. That's the clairvoyancy. I see it, and I also get information, clear audio, spoken to me. But in that particular thing, I saw the street sign.
Got it. And they found the child? He
Hmm?
was at the child was there, the child was on that in
Yes,
that
was in
okay.
that house, was in that house, and, so was able to be returned to the mother. Thank goodness. I mean, it was the child wasn't harmed. The father, what they call it, parental kidnapping or like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So
What's
that
the
that was
wh I've always wanted to ask, so I guess this is more, do you deal at all with any type of hauntings?
hauntings?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I go to different locations, and when I ask Ying, as I said before, Ying Lu is the producer of the Haunted Bay. I say, "Don't tell me where we're going. I don't want to know." And not until maybe the very before I just leave, if I have to drive there, or if she's going to pick me up, I don't even need to know the address. because it colors your thoughts. People always want to color your thoughts. Even when I'm doing a reading, they say, "Oh, is his name Jimmy? Does he have blue eyes?" And I'm like, "Will you just stop?" And so I don't want to know where we're going, what's happened there before. I don't want any of the history. And I go into a place that's already been picked by Ying,
Mhm.
and I go there and I just stand for a moment. Usually, what happens is I already start picking up information before I even get there. I start seeing faces, I hear names, um, I get feelings. I see something like an action, like I'm watching a screen and I'm watching something going on. And then when I get there, I can confirm it. And I can say, yeah, this is what I'm picking up. I walk around the space and I see how much I feel. There's times where I've gone some places and I don't pick up stuff, but other mediums have picked it up. I mean, maybe they just don't want to talk to me.
Hmm. What's
It's
the
very seldom, but it happens.
what's the scariest thing you've seen on an excursion like that?
On with the haunted bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jamaica we already talked about.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you where this place is because that video isn't up yet,
Ooh.
but it's within the Bay Area and where I live in California, and it was a warehouse. And I had always say to Ying, "Don't take me any place where it's really bad energy. I'm not interested in doing that." Well, there I was. And I didn't know that the place had this history of employees of the warehouse having these experiences of very negative entities there. Lots of things happened there. And even just recently, something was clarified. And this happened about 3 years ago. And the whole video and the whole film got corrupted. The cameras kept going off, even though they were fully charged. They had to recharge the batteries of the video, because they're filming me. And it was really ghastly. There were a lot of sadistic murders that took place on this property.
Oh dear.
And
And
yeah,
it was a warehouse?
yes. And I
A
picked up
murder
a lot of
warehouse.
information. Yeah. Yeah, and I picked up a lot of historical facts about the location and what was there before and blah blah blah. And Ying goes and does the history after I talk. She'll go and to verify. So I'm walking along, like I said, I don't scare really easy. So I started to feel like this isn't right. There's something really wrong here. And one of the worst entity, the murderer, was on me. And I felt like you ever see those films where the walls start coming in? They start
Yeah, yeah.
squeezing in, and there
Mhm.
you are. There's no way out. That's what happened. One of the cameramen.
Sorry, you
Uh,
felt that? That's how you
oh
felt, or that
yeah.
was actually
Oh
happening?
no. Oh no. It didn't actually happen.
Okay, that's
But
the
to me,
feeling you
it
were getting.
happened.
Okay,
To
yeah,
me,
yeah.
it happened, and I felt it, and I couldn't breathe, and the young cameraman, the young handsome cameraman, had to hold me. So that wasn't bad. But he had to. I actually felt like I was going to
Oh, you
faint.
just you just you
I
patted
did
your
not.
you
I
you
did not.
you just fell into his arms, June. It's like, "Oh, I see a ghost. Hold me up."
He's so kind. He probably thought of me like of as a grandmother or something like
We're
that.
onto your tricks, June. We're onto your tricks.
But he had to help me, and I started crying. And I don't do that. I do cry at sad movies like Lassie Come Home and stuff or Flicker, but I don't cry on any of those investigations. And it was really, really horrible. I said, I'm out of here. I don't want to film anymore. I'm done. So that was really something that was very, very scary. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. I don't
Yeah,
know if it'll ever be up on the Haunted Bay, but I can't tell you where it is because I
we
signed the
haven't.
paper,
Yeah, yeah.
saying I can't disclose it.
Oh, we're very familiar with the NDAs in this universe. Don't worry.
Mm.
Yeah,
We're asked
yeah.
to
I
sign
can't
them
say
all
this.
the
I
time.
can't say that. Yeah.
Yes.
Most of them are pretty cool. I have a good time.
But so those ghosts or those spirits that are haunting, they're staying in that house, they're staying at that murder scene. Why? Why aren't they going off? Like where I guess maybe my first question, where is the other place? What are their other options? Or is that just where you are? You just kind of hang out in this space. Like are they haunting or are they just always all around us all the time?
Yes, the latter. Um, if you could start thinking how we live dimensionally, like most of us live three dimensions. Here we are. And if you know about art, how things are done in dimensional like that. Well, you look at it as a dimensional space. And so the ones that do not leave the three-dimensional space, they may even go to the fourth dimensional space, kind of like the astral plane where there's a lot of activity. It's a lot to go into at one time. So if you look at it like that, most of us, we leave this body. eh, we got to go have a good time, rest in peace, be happy, go someplace where we don't have to deal with somebody saying they hurt my feelings. We're like, yeah, whatever. And so these spirits, usually because they have been in pain or they are like this sadistic being, they're stuck into the three-dimensional space. Does that make sense to you?
The pain makes them stay.
The
Makes them stuck.
pain, absolutely. You were murdered unfairly, and you feel that you can't make it right. Let me give you an example.
Like
Have
you're
you
not ready
ever?
to let go. Like
You're
you're not
not
ready to leave.
ready. It's like being with that friend that says, "I'll never get over this." Blah blah blah. And every time you talk to him, you're like, "Oh." And you said to him, "Yeah, I know, but you were only like 12. Can you let it go?" No, no. Well, that's like the spirit. No, I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
Hmm.
I think that's actually the real example how we get stuck in our head.
Hmm.
That's why they have psychotherapy to help people get out of their head.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's kind of like just there's unfinished business they feel that
Correct.
has to be done.
And they want to stay in the unfinished business. People say pray for them. Sometimes that can. I am a big believer in prayer. So sometimes that can happen, but most of the ones that I've met that are stuck um, are choosing to stay where they're at. They're the energy around that. They can't get over it. They can't forgive people. They can't. Just like we're just like us when we get stuck in our head. You
Hmm.
know, let it
So that
go. We tell people, let it go.
so you're like a ghost therapist.
I have met some happy ghosts, I'm going to tell you. And the first time I met a happy ghost, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you. You seem like such a nice." And he said to me, "Why? I like what I'm doing here. I like talking to people like you that can see me. I'm having a good time." And that's where I thought, "Oh well, who am I? You want to
Hmm.
stay here? Good."
Hmm. Very good. June, we're going to catch up on some super chats. Jimmy, I think you had a post you wanted to get ready to talk to June about. So let's catch up on super chats first. June, you've picked a great episode to be here because, I mean, if we don't hit our goal in super chats tonight, Jimmy's not going to be here ever again. So Jimmy's job is on the line if we don't hit the goal. So we
Well,
might
let
need a
me send
producer
you a
for next week.
ghost.
No, no, just a super chat. JT, thanks for the $2. Gallagher's ghost is in my room reciting his poetry. Congratulations. Ditk89, thanks for the 199. Did you dox John's Patreon members? Not yet. I don't have that information yet. Just the shameful 17. Eugene Breen, thanks for the 499. Shout out to Kinky Loco, Top Dabbler, and a good fry end. Thank you, Eugene Breen. Jeff Williamsley, thank you for the $10. Love you, Cardiff. Love you, Mr. The Lip. Ghosts are real, and I'm pretty sure the apartment below me is haunted. Oh no. Jay Smithy, thanks for the $2. I'm a fan, bro. Thank you. No, thank you. And thank you again, Jay Smithy, for the other $2. She can peel my potato. Please do that again. Oh, you have a fan, June. You have a fan. Rochi with the £5. FSJ. You piece of shit. FSJ. Christina Marie, one of the shameful 17. Thank you for the $2. Take this seriously if you're going to have her on. June, have I treated you seriously?
Very,
With
very.
respect?
Oh, even my communication with Jimmy was completely
Yeah.
very respectful,
Good.
very
Good.
professional.
Good. So there you go, Christina Marie. We're taking this seriously. But shame. Shame. And Monty, thank you for the 279 Canadian. Do you think Ed and Lorraine Warren were legit? I think that's a question for you. Do you know who these people are? Ed and Lorraine Warren?
Oh yeah, they were they're famous for doing paranormal stuff like The Conjuring. You know those movies? They're
Oh,
based
okay.
about them.
Oh, okay. You know
Yes.
about them, June?
No, but I've taken it down now so I could check it out.
Good. All right. So, Jimmy, I think you had a post. And remember, folks, if we don't hit our goal, Jimmy is fired.
Mm,
Uh, Jimmy, did you have a post to
uh,
discuss with June?
yeah, a couple of things here. They're short and sweet, but questions I definitely had, and I found some posts that kind of helped me out with it. Um, okay, so what happens if you don't end a seance properly? So I've been asking this question on other platforms multiple times, but the answers are always very vague. Is anyone able to answer this? What happens or can happen if you don't end a seance properly? How would you
Did you want me
answer?
to answer that?
Yeah, how would you
Yeah,
answer that?
you really have to bring it into it. It is like when you cast a circle and you open the, you go into the circle to do your ritual, whatever you're going to do, and then you open it back up again. Um, you have to end the seance by thanking any of the spirits that came through. That's what you start saying. I want to thank you for a spirit to come through for your time here, but you're not going to follow anybody home. And the communication has ended. And however, different mediums will end it. You don't want to leave it open ended because there can be spirits that will go home with somebody and people start having dreams or they'll start, then they call me after, oh, but I always open and I open it with telling people they can do their own prayer. I lead them in a talk about we're only inviting positive spirits here. So I actually do a circle around it and you have to open that circle. Yeah. So yes, I agree with that.
So,
Is that better?
yeah. So what about when people use like pentagrams and stuff like that?
Uh, oh, pentagrams?
Yeah, like
What
I
about
mean,
them?
don't people do seances like with pentagrams, or am I thinking of
I
something
think it's a
else?
Motley Crue video.
Yeah, that's the Motley Crew. They might. I mean, there's all different people that do all different things. I keep mine as try to keep it as simple as possible and keep it in a flow. You ever see John Edwards when he talks? He's just talking by picking up people in the audience. That's not per se a séance, but it's spirit communication. And he has said before he does the spirit communication goes out. He says a rosary because he's from a Catholic background. And so he'll say the rosary, and I will at times say the rosary too. I usually always say the rosary, actually, uh, or at least a couple of decades of it. So everybody's going to have their own way of how they're going to do it. And even the Long Island medium will be prepared for whatever she's doing. You have to kind of prepare yourself for what's going to happen because when you're feeling spirit, it can really be draining on your energy. We're joking and we're laughing, and I like that, and I have a good time. That's my personality, but I take my work very seriously.
As you should.
Being that you take it so seriously, what do you say to the the reputation with the scammers? The people that
Mm,
really go after widows and
yeah,
grieving people
very
and
sad.
I need more money to get more information. I need more money. So again, that and we have some clips too of who going back to Houdini and the Amazing Randy, like making lifelong campaigns trying to stop these people from ripping people off. So I don't think that's what you're doing. So correct. Hopefully, you're not going to correct me. I don't think that's what you're doing. But how do you deal? How do you feel? How do you comment on those kind of scams happening with what the same type of information you seem to have or
Yeah,
pretending?
and unfortunately, that happens in a lot of different professions, attorneys, and so
How do you know a lawyer's
education.
lying, June?
I know.
How do you know?
Don't ask me. I know.
Because
And
their lips are moving.
yeah, right. Like a shark attack where here up the North Bay, a lawyer got attacked, but the shark spit him back out. This is a true story. And I said, well, no wonder he was a lawyer. Anyway, that's not very nice. One of my brother-in-laws was a lawyer. So, um, I think like in so many professions, is that fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And people take advantage of people in all kinds of situations. And that I write that in both my books. And I write, how can you tell you're being scammed? For one thing, if they tell you to come back to them, there's no reason that a medium should ever tell you to come back. ever. You should just end it. If they ask you to give them things, I had a client that they wanted her leather jacket and they wanted this and that. There is no reason. If there's a set price and you're paying a fee, that's what you're paying. If that's what you agree to pay, that's what you're paying. They should tell you something more than just a general idea like, oh, yeah, he's resting in peace. They should be able to pick up some specific details. And you'd be surprised how many people don't pay attention to details in other people's lives. Like I picking up somebody, their eyes are blue, but they had a trouble with one eye. Maybe they had cataracts in it, and like that. And what's shameful? What's shameful? What?
Oh no, my chat is talking to each other about the Shameful 17. It's another show.
Okay, so
Don't mind
what's
that.
shameful? What's shameful? What I'm
No,
saying?
not you.
Come
The
here.
shameful,
Come here.
listen, let me explain. The Shameful 17 are the 17 confirmed members of Stuttering John's YouTube channel. So they're being
Okay.
shamed for being members of Stuttering John. That's all.
Yeah, it is terrible, and I agree that you have to educate yourself. And the best way to always find a medium is somebody else who has gone and had a good experience. I tell people not to come back. I actually said to a woman once, she used to come to my talks and open spirit communication, and then when I was doing all that, and she kept coming and asking the same question: is he at peace? Is he still hurting? I go, well, you asked me that for the last year. Every time you come, or 2 years, I said, don't come back. Don't ask anymore. And people were shocked and they got upset at me. I said, it's not fair. It's not fair to her to be paying to come to this event to ask the same question,
Mm.
and it's not helping her.
Yeah, it seems like she's just
So,
torturing herself.
yeah. And so I could have been a scammer and said, oh, yeah, well, come to me. That'll be $500 and I'll tell you how much pain he's not in. So I don't work that way. It's not my thing.
Interesting. Jeff Williamsley, thanks for the $5. Here's to the super chat goal, so I don't have to go back to paying Jimmy to send me compliments on Discord. I don't know, Jeff Williams only. We're not even close. We're not even.
Thanks,
So
Jeff.
that's my thought on that. And as I said, I put it in my book, and I tell people whenever I can, what did the mediums say if they come to me? And I use a lot of the like, oh, that was BS, and other words that I don't want to say about different people that scam people.
One thing I saw a lot in the Reddit, the paranormal Reddit, was people talking about sleep paralysis
Mm.
and demons in their sleep paralysis. Would you say that's something you've come across as more of just
Yes.
a haunting? So they
No, I don't see it as that. I have come across with that, and I have said to the family, they had a daughter they were sending me to. I said, that is also a medical thing. You really need to talk to a professional about this. And she also was having that. And now I'm not saying it cannot happen. I've just been presented with so much. I've seen and heard things that I never thought about and imagined, and I cannot discount it just because I have not experienced it. Um, Demons, let's call them negative entities. I think it's a better way of saying it. Everybody's so into God and devil, and you have to pick one or the other side. And, I know some people that, they're demons. They're just rotten people, but they're alive. And usually they're in the Senate or the Congress or something like that. But anyway, I have not
Drain the
experienced
swamp, right, June?
This is not a political show.
No.
But yes, things have happened beyond my ability to be able to give good information about. And so I encourage people to find the right, and I sometimes try to help them find somebody who's done that kind of work.
There you go. So
You have to be very careful when it comes to anything that is mental or physical. As a reader, you have to say, I am not qualified. You have to check with your doctor. It's a legal thing. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing. And some readers aren't aware of those laws.
So what happens, June, when I'm going to bring up just a post here. When you have things that appear in photographs, when people that have passed appear to show up in the background of a picture, are they actually there?
I don't know. I would say most photographs we see online, they're photoshopped. I mean, I don't really believe them,
Mhm.
you know. But the first time I ever saw something very weird is, you're both young, so you won't remember Rusty Dennis. Cher played her in the movie Mask.
Oh, yeah, Rocky the
Oh
Rocky
yeah.
dentist. Yep, yep.
Rocky, yeah,
Mhm.
Rocky. Well, I
Yeah.
was friends with the mother, and she showed
The
me a
real mother?
photo. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
Rusty and I were friends. Yeah,
wow.
keep your motor running, and so she showed me a photograph of her and her other son, who also transitioned, who also died, and behind her was a whole thing of Rocky, and
Mhm,
it was not Photoshop. This is you're talking, back in the early '80s,
mhm,
or and we just couldn't figure it out. I saw another photo of a young boy that was having a lot of trouble. He was only about 4 or 5, and his mother, took pictures of her kids, and behind him was Mickey Mouse in a shadow-like way. I mean, completely like that. They weren't by a window.
mhm,
There's no Mickey Mouse. So I have seen some photos that are very unexplainable.
mm.
But most of
Ni
these photos online,
you don't
I
you
don't
don't
buy into them.
you don't believe him? Nimrod71, wants to know, what are your thoughts on those ghost hunting shows?
Okay, I won't watch most of them. I think any paranormal investigator that acts like, oh my God, and they're here, should not be investigating. It is, I'm sure there's some really good shows. So I'm not going to, specifically talk about too many shows.
So you don't like the drama
I do not like
behind?
drama. I don't
Okay,
believe drama needs to be involved in the paranormal investigation world.
okay.
Though I have to say, there were a few times I got a little dramatic, like, oh man, I'm out of here.
Hmm. So, yeah, so these shots, this is just an image. If you look
Yes.
into the window there, you could see the
Yeah.
face of, the
That is
deceased
a
grandmother.
possibility. That is a possibility.
Like, they wanted to be at the wedding that bad that somehow they showed up on.
It is really hard to show up. It's really hard to get through the dimensional spaces to come down. It's like talking to somebody in a country that's way up in the Alps, and somewhere, and you're trying to get through, and the connection's not always that good.
Hmm.
Most of the times they don't show up. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't want them to show up. It is super bumpy when they show up. When they actually show up, you're like, oh no.
Hmm.
I like them to just show up in here
That's
in my
it.
mind.
So here's a story I pulled from the subreddit June. I'll read this if you want to weigh in, maybe help us understand what's happening here. But this is a pretty interesting one. My late father keeps visiting relatives and townspeople in their dreams with an urgent message for me. Long story short, my dad passed away in 2019. He was a local legend of a man, a crusty, harsh, hardcore old mountain man. When he passed, he had two small children that he was raising on his own after their mother pretty much abandoned them all after getting cabin fever and addiction. They lived totally off grid in an area that is snowed in for 8 months of the year. Anyway, when he died, I adopted the boys and have been raising them as my own. I'm their 48-year-old half brother. So that's the backstory. The kids are doing great, but I kid you not that dad keeps visiting all these relatives and townspeople in their dreams, people who have no contact with one another, and they always reach out to me to tell me the same thing, that dad visited them in their dreams and had some sort of urgent message for me, but they weren't sure what it was. Just that he's been desperate to get to me and I won't answer. The same mutual dream over and over again between random people who don't know each other in the town. I mean, I'm honestly a little freaked out. He wasn't exactly the nicest person to me, so I'm not thrilled with the idea of him reaching out from the great beyond with a message for me. But I've come to expect these messages over the years from random, unrelated people, and I've never told anyone about this. I had a mild stroke earlier this month, and man, oh man, the old man must be desperate to get a message to me because since then, because it's ramped up a lot this month. Hopefully, he's just trying to tell me to slow down and take better care of my health, because Lord knows he didn't. And well, you know how that turned out. But knowing the old man, he's probably pissed that I sold his beloved Unabomber jacket cabin or something instead of giving up my life and moving in it to raise his kids there. So what's that? What's this guy's reaching out to everyone around his kid.
That is a beautiful, sincere story. And the important thing here is he is reaching out to everyone, and dreams are the absolute way that the majority of people have spirit communication. For one thing, you're in an altered state of consciousness. As I say, I meditate. So even meditation, I go into an altered state of consciousness. And so that's how it happens in dreams. And it sounds what you're saying. Wow, what a beautiful story.
But
Uh,
why wouldn't the father be able to talk to the son?
Well,
Why
I'll
does he have
tell
to put
you,
it like why would
because
he
his
be
son said it. I didn't get along with him. I didn't want to hear from him. The last thing I want to do is talk to this guy. So the father knows this. And the father goes, well, maybe if I tell enough people, this stupid kid will wake up and listen to me. You
but you
know,
can I guess he can turn him off? Like if he's not willing
well,
to
you could definitely turn him off. Good luck with that. It's
Hmm.
like when I worked on a murder case and I didn't want to keep being involved anymore. You know the movie Ghost, where Whoopi Goldberg, he's sitting by the bed singing Henry the Eighth, I am my Do you remember that?
Yeah.
How young
He's
are
trying
you
to
guys?
he's trying to
Okay.
harass he's trying to harass Whoopi Goldberg to help him.
Well, and that's what this woman Cheryl was doing to me, because she wanted me to give more information. Then she started going into my young son, who was about 3.5 and 4 when it happened, and he started telling me stuff. And so I recorded him. I took credit when I told the police because I didn't want them asking my son anything. And it was really absolutely specific, detailed information that the police did not have. And well, wait a minute, they had some of it and they didn't let anybody know what they had. That was another place where I actually gave an address, which to me is amazing personally.
Hmm.
So back to this man, and the man had a stroke. And so the father was desperate to tell him, take care of yourself, slow down. I didn't take care of myself. I was there. I got drugs. I blah, blah, blah. If the man was speaking with me, I would help him go through the dreams and I would help him open up more in a loving way to listen to his father. But he's holding on to, uh, I don't want to talk to my father. We didn't get along. And that in itself is causing that drift between the communication coming through.
Interesting.
I mean, I can see it real clearly.
Jeff Williamsley, thanks for the $5. June, I bet you'd be a blast to have a drink with. Are you single? Jeff Williams
I'm
only
not.
wants
I'm very happily married to
uh,
another crazy. But yeah, once I get
does
a
your
drink,
does your
it's just
partner
Scottish blood.
does your
Mm.
partner see the same things you see?
No. Oh, well, he has had something, but he's not into what I'm doing. But neither does he. I had partners before that were like, "Oh, you got to stop this stuff," so it never worked out.
Mhm.
I'll miss him sometimes, I would say. So no, he's like, whatever you got to. I told him stuff in the very beginning when we started dating, and so he's open-minded. He doesn't ask me anything, but he accepts what I do. He says, okay, that's what you do, and then this is our relationship over here. But thank you for asking me for our drink. That was very nice of you.
We have the greatest audience on YouTube right here, but especially Jeff Williams only. The great and wonderful. I believe he's a friend of Jimmy's. I believe Jimmy pays him to say nice things in the chat, but I don't know.
Oh, well, your money well spent then, Jimmy.
He does it all on his own.
Well, June, I want to thank you for your time. That was great. Is there anything you'd like to say to close? Anything where people can go see you? I put your website, your YouTube, in the episode
Yeah,
description.
yeah,
Anything you'd
Facebook,
like to say?
Instagram, blah blah blah. I'm really mostly retired, but I keep myself entertained. I keep myself interested because spirit are throwing through me often. I mean, I actually had somebody at Safeway I stood next to. I had to give a message to very discreetly. That's another story. But yeah, yeah,
You
I
forgot
enjoy
the
it.
coupon. Was it
The
that?
coupon.
Did they forget their coupon? Was that the message you
Yeah.
saved?
No, his father came and wanted me to give him information, and I had to make up a story like, oh, sometimes my father would use that product or something. And so, anyway, it's a kind of funny story. But anyway, yeah, just tell people, keep an open mind. If it works for you, it works for you. There should be no reason to be super scary. If you're haunted and you actually have an attachment, that's another whole subject. And it does happen. And it happened to me one time.
Oh,
Again, I didn't believe in it. I don't believe in things till they happen to me, kind of.
well, you got to tell us about the haunting before you go, June.
Oh, when they attach to you?
Yes.
Oh man,
What happened?
it is miserable. If they attach to you, they are not nice little spirits. They're the darker entities, and they will come in, especially to sick people, children, elderly people, and they'll start to take over your life. They'll make you more ill. You've heard about mass murderers talking about black energies, dark
Mhm.
energy coming into their life, and all that. That's probably part of what's really happening. They attach. They actually you feel different. I had a heck of a time getting the attachment out because I did a whole session. I went to when I did my book tour. I went to one book tour to begin with. They were all drinking, which is a bad idea. I mean vodka, and they were all people there to talk about their murder relatives, a suicide, all kinds of stuff, and it was so dark. And that I got an attachment from that. That's another. We could do another show on attachment
All right.
sometime.
Well, we'll definitely have you back. Thank you, June. Go to
Thank
June's
you.
website, buy a book.
Buy a book. Buy a
Buy a
book.
book. I don't know if any of our audience reads, but buy a book and give it to somebody.
Well, it's audio. A
Yeah,
lot of
there
them
you
are
go. Buy
audio.
an audiobook. There you go. Thank you, June. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
for having me
June.
on.
Gagia. I was really hoping she'd say Gagia. Well, that was great. The great June Ahern. Um, Jimmy, I just want to go through just a couple more of the images I found on this paranormal subreddit, and then we'll wrap up. We will thank the big kahunas over on our Patreon. Um, but great guest, great job, Jimmy. Great job,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I met I stumbled on her when I was looking for somebody to come talk exorcisms with us, and that's kind of how I got to meet her.
Very good. So this was taken in someone's home. The person taking the picture was the only one home, but as you can see, appears to be a girl in the mirror. Uh, right there. Can
Is
you
that
see
not
it?
the person taking the
No, that's
photo?
not the person taking the photo. There's no
It,
cam. They're not holding a camera. It's a different person taking the photo in the mirror,
huh.
which is really strange. Um, there's this one here. A picture of me then uh, holding our daughter on Thanksgiving 2007. The TV was definitely off.
What year was it? 2007.
2007.
Oh, is there? There looks like there's a face there too next to it.
Yeah, almost a cartoon type face. But yeah, the
Yeah.
TV was off. That's a weird one. That is a weird one. And I've got one more here. No, no, I don't. I don't have one more there.
Oh, jeez.
But Jimmy, I think we've done it all today. That was a great guest. Thank you for that. Um, I would like to thank our big kahunas. You know what a big kahuna is, Jimmy?
I do.
Then why don't you tell us?
Big Kahuna is our supporters over on Patreon.
Yes, people that go all the way over to subredditsurfing.com and they join the Patreon, and we appreciate them. We appreciate them.
Indeed.
We appreciate Ray Guitard. We appreciate Joel and Josh and Joe and Kindy and Grandpies. Grandpies? Grandpies Champies? I swear Vinny's been writing Grampy's Champies. It's Grandpies Champies. Brian, John K, Charlie, NYC, Cyberganic, Mr. Wiggles, Dr. Steve, Rochi, Carly, Brinkomania, Dylan, Monty, Gregory, Victor, Tyler, Pony Power 2, Good Hound, Stoneman623, Derek Kuka, Bjorn Cray, Stinky Italian Gang, Steve, Daniel M, Fisker Whisker, Hamad, Namla. Oops, I probably Hamad, sorry. David Wilson. David, damn it. Stop saying last name. Stop stuttering Johnning this. Aaron, Joe, Ken, J Bone, Slocum, Jib Mob, the Creep Off Channel, Damien, Gut, Jervis, Hall and Oates, Hunter, Fred, Steve Martin, Jimmy the Lip, Eugene the Bichon Frege, JT the Bag Slapper, Kinky Loco, and Bob K. The last few, the founding fathers and mothers of subredditsurfing.com. Vince and Bessie, I'm not putting that up. You're trying to
Uh-oh.
dox someone. I will not. And that's not my address. Anyway, thank you all, Big Kahunas. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Vinny, for eating the raw turkey that kept you away from the show tonight. So we were able to have a calm, coherent show where no one was yelling. There's no yelling. Was there any yelling today, Jimmy?
I did not hear any yelling.
No yelling.
Mm-mm.
I don't know, Vinny.
Well,
I
actually,
think
there may have been some people yelling in the chat.
maybe that's
Maybe.
possible. That's possible. But Jimmy, thank you, Big Hunas, and Galaga.
Galaga.
Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog.
Hey, Vinny.
Yeah, Cardiff?
Do you want to go subreddit surfing? I wanna go subreddit surfing.
Couldn't remember if Vinny plays the song.
Grab
at
your
the
phone,
end.
let's go subreddit surfing. Cause I wanna go subreddit surfing with you. We talk to folks from different subreddits because sometimes we just don't get it. We explore all kinds of subreddits. Subscribe now or you will regret it. Do you want to go subreddit surfing? I wanna go subreddit surfing. Grab your phone, let's go subreddit surfing. Cause I wanna go subreddit surfing with you. Vinny and Cardiff go subreddit surfing. Mondays at 8 we are subreddit surfing. 10 is too late for subreddit surfing. So be here now for subreddit surfing today.